Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest on this next interview. A French appeals court has upheld Marine Le Pen's conviction for misusing European Parliament funds, but significantly reduced the electoral ban that had threatened to end her presidential ambitions. The ruling leaves her legally eligible to run in 2027, while raising fresh questions about the future of the National Rally and the broader direction of French politics. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss the implications is political science professor Karolina Borońska-Hryniewiecka from the University of Wrocław, whose expertise in European politics offers us insight into this decision. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good evening, and I just wanted to make a little correction. It's also Polish Academy of Science that I'm representing today.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for the update. We'll add that in as well. Now, coming back to this appeals, a lot of media outlets have actually been describing today's decision as a surprise ruling. Before the appeal, what was the prevailing expectation among legal political observers, and what exactly makes today's verdict so unexpected?
I mean, to my knowledge and what I have been following over the last days, the experts have always framed three possible scenarios for this rule of appeal. And one of them was simply very improbable, which was basically clearing Marine Le Pen off all the accusations. Second was basically what French call a mice hole, which is a small margin of possibility that she might run for a president, meaning that they would uphold the conviction, but they would allow her to run by limiting this period of ineligibility. And this is exactly what happened. And obviously the third scenario was that everything will stay as it was in the first instance a year ago. So we are basically now in this second middle road, which also basically leaves France until today evening possibly very torn and very insecure of what's going to happen, because in other words, the decision about Marine Le Pen running or not running for a president was shifted from the field of judicial justice to the field of politics. In other words, she's still convicted. She still has exactly the same, embezzlement of funds conviction, which has been validated, which is a very serious crime, I would say, because it was systematic. It ran for many years. It has deprived public funds of public taxpayers in European Union of 4 million euros. But and she obviously will also be held in custody for the next 3 years. But this one, I would say, condition of ineligibility has been barred. I mean, what the judge has said is basically that they will decrease this period from 5 years to around 4, of which 15 months have already been served. And these 15 months are firm ineligibility period, which basically means that today, as we speak, Marine Le Pen, convicted and guilty, can nevertheless run for the public office. And this is insanity, as many of the observers of the French political life have said today. I mean, this is a very problematic situation, but also it's very, very uncomfortable for Marine Le Pen herself, because the burden is on her to decide today whether it's going to be her guilty but running, or her younger partner in crime. Obviously that was a joke, but her younger partner in leadership of Rassemblement National, Jordan Bardella.
Right, like you mentioned, now this conversation has went from a judicial justice one to a political one as well, and it has send a little bit of uncertainty within French politics, I would like to explore what you mentioned earlier that actually does put the ball into Marine Le Pen's court regarding whether or not she wants to run. And so my question would be, politically speaking, do you think this decision is ultimately a positive or could actually have a negative effect when it comes to the National Rally's campaign, seeing that, well, now there's another factor of uncertainty being introduced within the party politics?
Well, I think that if the court has ruled otherwise, in the sense that she would be still barred from running for public office, then Rassemblement National could very easily shift the blame on the, as they call it, dictator or republic of judges, right? Because this is what Marine Le Pen basically accused the justice sector of, to be political and to be basically very much against the far right. Now she is free to decide, and this can have potential repercussions for the decision. So basically, if she decides to run, she has big chances, obviously, as the polls are showing, to enter into the first round as a winner. But in the second round, when other right-wing or center-right-wing forces will be supposed to back some of the candidates, the problem of her being guilty of such important embezzlement and of such important conviction is risky. And in this sense, I would say, this is my personal view, that Bardella would be a safer candidate. First of all, he has in the polls nowadays a little bit higher opinion rates, between 37 and 35 depending on the poll. Marine Le Pen around 32, and he is clean, he's fresh, he's also very, very popular among the young people as well. And I would say that the decision of Marine to run, nevertheless, would be risky and could bring some sort of a moral burden for Rassemblement National.
Right. So, how do we interpret Jordan Bardella's position after today's decision? Has his path to the presidency, could it possibly just be delayed, or are we seeing this ruling ultimately weaken his standing within the party altogether?
Well, I think that first of all, we have to admit that looking at the atmosphere in France at the moment, in the far right circles, there is a strong unity among members of National Rally, Rassemblement National. No matter what decision will be taken, I believe, and that's what also other experts assume, it will be backed, supported by the closer and more remote environment of Marine Le Pen. This also means that there are no objections for Bardella to run. He also has a strong support. In this sense, I don't think that his position will be undermined in any way. He will still be perceived as someone who has sustained the party's image and has been running the business, let's say, over the last months when Marine was barred from the public office. And I think that no matter what decision she takes, this is nevertheless, this will always be, Rassemblement National going for presidency. And I think this is very, very likely that they will eventually get it. So I would say betting on Bardella is safer at the moment, and that would also look good in the eyes of electors, also right wing. But even if she decides to go for it, that would be her fourth time, that would also be accepted broadly by her supporters.
Right. Now, taking a step back, looking beyond just party politics and taking a look at France as a whole, you just mentioned perhaps they're very likely to go through the first round, but then after the second round with different right-wing parties in the competition, we might see a little bit of difference there. Has the country now fully transitioned from a more traditional left-right system to a more fragmented three-block political landscape?
Well, of course, I mean, the latest regional elections just a few months ago has clearly showed that French political scene is undergoing some sort of fragmentation. It's even deeper now. We have a clear right and left becoming stronger and stronger, but we also have a weak center, which has been very strong at the beginning of Macron's period, right, 2017. However, it has, to some extent, and I can use the word degenerated for many reasons. And now we can see that the very broad left sector is also disintegrated into the more radical left, La France Insoumise, that will have also strong presidential candidate presented in the campaign. And then on the other side, we have also pretty divided center, because we have Gabriel Attal, a young Macron, right? Also with ambition to run for a president, he's confirmed. And also Edouard Philippe, more experienced. So there will be internal battles in the sector of the left and the center. And obviously the far right can capitalize on that divisions, because we don't really see one very strong candidate who can face either Marine Le Pen or Bardella at the moment as we speak.
Right, so definitely we're looking at not just polarization, but also fragmentation as well. We'll have to see what happens in French politics in the near future. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your input and insight. I really appreciate it, and thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.